All right, everybody, welcome back. This is my wind up deck profile for the December 2017 format. So let's get right into it. So we're going to start off with the monsters. We have two wind up magician. Now, wind up magician's effect is if the effect of a wind up monster is activated except wind up magician, you can special summon one level 4 or lower wind up monster from your deck in face up defense position. And each wind up, they can only activate once while face up on the field. But if they come back to the field, let's say if they went to grave and then they came back, then they can activate their effects again. It's not a hard once per turn. So as long as they're face up on the field and they use their effect, they can't do it again unless they're summoned back, and then they act like a new card after that. So Wind Up Magician is essential. Running it at 2, it's semi-limited at 2, but I wouldn't run it at 3 anyway. At least not yet. Now there's a new announced Link monster coming out for the windups that's gonna speed up the deck a bit, and since Party Boat is banned for us, even though the OCG has it, which makes no sense. Like, just ban Hunter, but whatever. So, Wind Up Magician at 2 is really good. And he works extremely well with his partner in crime, Wind Up Shark, which I run at 3. Now, Wind Up Shark's effect is when a Wind Up monster is normal special summoned to your side of the field, you can special summon this card from your hand. And then once per turn, you can activate the effect of either raising his level up to 5 or lowering his level to 3, and that helps with activating its effect to trigger Magician, and even its special summoning itself into the field triggers Magician, so you can get into some really cool combos with that. Next up, we run 3 Wind Up Rat. Now, Wind Up Rat's really good. His effect is during the main phase, you can target one Wind Up monster in your graveyard and change the face-up attack position card to face-up defense position, and then special summon a target from your grave in face-up defense position. So Rat gets you... Rat recycles your resources from the graveyard and brings it back, and then you can... Since Wind Up Magician specials the Rat in defense, you can use cards like Photon Popular Operative to bring him up to face-up attack, so he can trigger his effect and then get the special summon. So Wind Up Rat's really good. And he's essential in the deck. And we play 3 Wind Up Rabbit. Now, Wind Up Rabbit's effect is during either player's turn, you can target one Wind Up monster you control and then banish it until your next standby phase. It's kind of like Omega, if you're familiar with Cyframes. And he can only use that effect once while he's face up on the field. But if you banish himself, then he can keep using the effect because he comes back as a new monster, like I mentioned before. So Wind Up Rabbit is good. He's also an Earth monster, so you can use him for Mrs. Radiant, like the Rat. And then we play the 2 Wind Up Warrior. Wind Up Warrior is he is the search that you're gonna get for MX Saber Invoker. He's the only MX Saber Invoker target we have, so it's good to run him at 2. And his effect is you can target one Wind Up you control and then increase this level by 1 and attack by 600. So it doesn't have to be himself. You can increase the level of another Wind Up. So that's really helpful when playing around with levels, trying to get your Exceeds out. Because we do play rank 3, rank 4, rank 5. So Wind Up Warrior is really good. Now that's the Wind Up monsters. Up to the other monsters, we play 1 Rescue Cat. Rescue Cat summons 2 rats basically from your deck, and then you can get into a rank 3, so that's pretty good. Rescue Cat, he's also an Earth monster. 1 Summoner Monk. Summoner Monk special summons a level 4, and you can get into your Baguska or anything like that. And you do play a few spells, so you're always going to have like a spell in your hand that you can discard. We play the Tour Guide and Sangan combo. This gets you to your rank 3s, and also Sangan's good to search any card in your deck if it gets bumped into the grave. Not if you XC though, as a material doesn't get its effect, but if you were to like set it, so forth. Sangan's really good. It searches most of your deck out. So that's really good. We also have the 2 Ghost Ogre, because we need hand traps in this deck, because that's the format right now. But Ghost Ogre in general is a really good card. Basically, you can destroy a card, a monster that activates its effect, or a card that activates its effect that's already face up on the field. So Ghost Ogre is really good. And the one Maxi, because Maxi, you need Maxi. Maxi just, it's good. It gets you a lot of draw, a lot of deck special summon. It's kind of a necessity. We have it at 1, so play it at 1. Now off to the spells, we play 3 Wind Up Factory. Now Wind Up Factory, when once per turn if an effect of a Wind Up goes off, you can add 1 level 4 lower Wind Up from your deck to your hand. So this works really well with Magician and Shark to really extend your combos. And if you have 2 Wind Up Factories, you just get 2 Sharks in your hand and you could just go off and extend your combos. So Wind Up Factory is really good. You want to see as early as you can, especially once you get your Magician Shark combo, because that's a 2-card combo. Once you add the Wind Up Factory to that 3-card combo gets you a lot of resources. You can end the field with 4 monsters, like 2 Links, 2 Exceeds, something like that, you know. 3 Wind Up Factory is really good. To search, we have 2 Pot of Duality. It does help you dig into your deck, because if you don't have the cards that you need, Pot of Duality will get you there, and then maybe you'll get like a Scapegoat or Sangan, all those other cards that you need, more like a Maxi, or maybe you have a Trap to help you. Because if you don't have your special summons, you're gonna really like struggle with the deck, you know. This is like a fun deck to play. It's not like super competitive. You can be competitive with it. You can run other engines like you can run Brilliant Fusion engine, or you can run Stick and Chair engine and stuff like that. But I like the way I play. Like I play more like for fun, and I like this build for myself, especially since it's a budget deck. And being a budget deck has its drawbacks, but it still works out, especially with 2 Scapegoat, which really helps to accelerate the deck. If you can pull off the Scapegoat in your opponent's turn, and they don't deal with the tokens, that's automatically a Mrs. Radiant and a Proxy Dragon. If they leave at least 2 on the field, that's Mrs. Radiant, and then that gets you cards. And then if Mrs. Radiant goes into the graveyard, you can search your Rat, you can search your Warrior, you can search your Rabbit, you can even get out the Mrs. Radiant back into the deck. So Scapegoat's really good to run at 2, and it does help you a lot because, especially in the Link format, Scapegoat's a really good card. So running at 2 is good. We play 1 Fire Formation Tanky. This searches out your Wind Up Rabbit. That's basically all it does, and then it increases the attack by 100, but you don't really care about that. You just want to thin out the deck, and that's the point of Tanky. So we run 1 Mind Control. Mind Control is good in just taking your opponent's monster, using it as a link material, or exceeding with it, because you do have the 3, 4, 5s. But usually you're just gonna use it for like a link, like a Proxy Dragon or Ebe. So Mind Control is good. Or even clearing the field so you can attack directly if they only have 1 monster. We have the 1 Soul Charge, so extend combos. Then we have Twin Twisters and Cosmic Cyclone, and these cards are going to be your spot removal for the deck. Back row is really important to deal with, so Twin Twisters and Cosmic Cyclone are really good choices to have in the deck to help with those problematic situations. Then we have the 1 Dark Hole and the 1 Raigeki. For board wipe's always cool. It's always important because sometimes people like to go off and then this just destroys them. So they're both at 1, so you play them at 1. Off to the trash, we play 2 Fiendish Chain. Fiendish Chain prevents your opponent's monster from attacking and negates their effects, so that can be really helpful in stopping your opponent from extending their combos, extending their plays. If they use up their normal summon and that allows them to start special summoning, you can negate it. So Fiendish Chain is really good. Then we run 1 Storming Mirror Force. This deals with your opponent's link monsters if they attack, and it also deals with their other monsters. Then we have 1 Compulsory Evacuation Device, so that you can bounce something back into the hand or to the extra deck. Then we run 1 Solemn Warning and 1 Solemn Strike to round off the negation part of the deck. Solemn Warning is the better one in my opinion, but you do run the Solemn Strike too because it deals with monster effects, and that's important, especially nowadays. But off to the extra deck, that was a 40 card main deck. Off to the extra deck, we run 2 Mrs. Radiant. Now Mrs. Radiant requires 2 Earth monsters, so usually you're going to use the Scapegoats to get the Mrs. Radiant out, or you can use the rabbits, the wind-up rats, and stuff like that. Get your Mrs. Radiant, and this is usually the better alternative to getting Decode Talker out first, just because Mrs. Radiant has the same arrows, and at the same time, it boosts your Earth monsters by 500, so this comes out as a 1900, and also it can beef up like Wind-Up Zenmeister to 3000, so that's pretty cool. So Mrs. Radiant 2. Also running at 2 because sometimes, even though he recycles himself, sometimes he gets banished or anything like that, and it's good to have 2. There's usually moments where I get the Mrs. Radiant in the graveyard and I don't bring back the Mrs. Radiant because I want to bring back a rat to my hand for next turn, so I can get more wind-up combos going. So having 2 Mrs. Radiant is good. Then the 1 Decode Talker, because he's the mainstay in Link decks. He requires 3 effect monsters, and you get him out pretty easily. Then we have the 1 Ebe, the World Chalice Priestess, which is a better Proxy Dragon in my opinion. But Proxy Dragon is really good for the tokens. You can't really use the Scapegoat for Ebe, at least if that's all you have. You can use 1 Earth token and then maybe like a Fire, like Wind-Up Magician, and use Ebe, but that's why it's good to run both, because sometimes you're in either situation. So, but Ebe is the better one. Basically, her effect is she can't be destroyed if she has a Link monster next to her. Like if there's a monster next to her, then she has that sort of protection to her, and then she can also tribute herself if one of the cards that is next to her gets destroyed. She can tribute herself instead. So she has a cool protection effect, just like Decode Talker. And then Proxy Dragon is good for the Scapegoats. So those are the Link monsters. Up to the XCs, we're going to start with the rank 3s. We have 1 MX Saber Invoker. MX Saber Invoker is going to get your get out your wind up warrior, and then that's going to extend your plays. And also, and a cool thing with MX Saber Invoker is that you can get out the wind up warrior, and then since both of them are Earth, you can use them for Mrs. Radiant and start getting your Link plays out that way, if that's the only way to get misses. So that's just a cool thing that you can do. We played 1 Phantom Knights of Breaksword. This is for dealing with problematic cards. And a cool thing with Breaksword is that if you have Ebe on the field, then you can target Ebe to destroy Ebe, and then target a card your opponent controls, but Ebe won't get destroyed because of her effect, and since she's linked next to Phantom Knight. So that's really cool to do. A cool little neat combo you can do with that. We play the 1 Wind-Up Zen mains. This is good for a defensive play. Its effect is when if it were to get destroyed, you can detach 1 Exceed material from it instead. And then during the end phase, if you activated that effect, you can destroy a card on the field. So Wind-Up Zen main is really good. It requires just 2 level 3, so it's really easy to get out. We play the 1 Leviar, the Sea Dragon. This goes hand in hand with your Wind-Up Rabbits. Wind-Up Rabbits can banish a card, and you could just bring it back with Leviar and start extending combos that way. So that's really cool. And that is the rank 3s. Up to the rank 4s, we play 1 Wind-Up Zenmeister. Now Zenmeister is cool because it comes out as 3000 if you have Mrs. Radiant out on the field. And also you can flip your wind-ups face down, but you're really just going to try to have them as a wind-up name so you can activate your Shark, extend your combos and stuff. And this is going to start working even better once that Link monster comes out for wind-ups. Because when that Link monster gets destroyed, it can go as an XE material for Wind-Up Zenmeister, boosting its attack. So that's pretty cool. Then we have the 1 Baguska, which is probably the best rank 4 in this deck. Baguska really helps with defensive plays and stalling. If it's in face of attack, can't be destroyed by card effects, but if it's in defense, which usually you're going to put in defense, all monsters go to defense. And then it's kind of like a lose 1 turn, so to speak, because all their opponent's monsters and all your monsters will go to defense, but since links don't go to defense, your links will be able to attack still. So Baguska is really cool for that. Then we play the 1 Full-Time Pauper Operative. This card is going to be used to flip your rat from defense to attack, so you can activate rat's effect once you summon him off the Wind-Up Magician. So that's really cool. We have the 1 Castell. Castell deals with problematic cards, shuffles it back into the deck. It's pretty much a basic rank 4 to play. So that's cool. And the extra deck is all, up to you guys, what you guys want to play, what you guys think is more important. For the rank 5s, play 1 Shark Fortress. This helps with the OTKs, basically making sure that your opponent eats as much damage as possible. It allows one monster to attack twice, so Shark Fortress is really good for that. And then the 1 tier is Keeper of Genesis. This card, basically another defensive card, can be destroyed with card effects, and also it can destroy a card in the field, so it's really powerful. And that rounds out the extra deck, and then of course the Scapegoat tokens for the Scapegoat card. So this deck is really cheap to make. I got it for around $30-$35 complete. And that's what, that's with having already like most of the cards. Like I had Tour Guide, I had Sangan, and all this stuff. But if you want to build this deck, it's super cheap right now. You can get the core for like $20 on TCG Player. And with this new Link monster coming out, it's really cool to see new support coming out for such an old classic deck like this that came out like 2012. So if you like this deck profile, if you have any tips, if you're a wind-up player and you have any cool text that you want to share with me, please leave it down in the comment section below, and I'll definitely look at it and comment back and have a conversation with you about it, because obviously we gotta help each other out. And leave a like, comment, subscribe, and come back. Stay tuned for more.